By the time you're 20, half your life is already over. Not in years, in felt time. The amount of your life that actually feels like it happened. And if that made your stomach drop, good. Because the story you tell yourself that this year vanished because you were just too busy is a lie your own brain is helping you believe. Here's the stranger truth. Time didn't speed up. Your recording of it got thin. Right now, as you sit there, your brain is doing something quietly ruthless. It's deciding which moments of your life are worth keeping and which ones to throw away without asking you. And it has been throwing away more of them every year since you were about 8 years old. Think about that. The machine you use to measure your entire life has a bias built into it, and the bias only gets worse with age. So let's go back to that number that ruins people. If you measure your life not in years, but in how much of it feels like it happened, the halfway point isn't age 40. It's somewhere around age 20. Everything after that is the second half, and the second half plays at double speed. Why? Start with the simplest explanation, the one a French philosopher figured out over 100 years ago. His name was Paul Janet, and in 1897 he wrote down a piece of math so obvious it hurts. When you're 5, 1 year is 1/5 of everything you've ever lived, 20% of your entire existence. It's enormous. But when you're 50, that exact same year is 1/50th of your life. 2%. Same 365 days, a fraction of the weight. To a child, a summer is a geological era. To an adult, a summer is a receipt you find in your pocket in October. The year didn't shrink. Your sense of proportion did. Around the same time, an American psychologist named William James noticed the same thing from the inside. He wrote that as you age, the years seem to grow hollow and collapse. Hollow, that's the word. Not fast, empty. And that emptiness is the real clue, because proportion alone doesn't explain the feeling. There's something else hiding in how your brain records a memory in the first place. Here's the secret. Your brain does not store time evenly. It stores change. It timestamps the new and the surprising in thick, dense detail. And it barely bothers to write down anything it's seen before. Your first kiss, your first apartment, the first time you drove a car alone and realized nobody was coming to save you. Those are burned in with incredible resolution because they were new, and new things get the full treatment. Your brain lays down memory like wet concrete. But your 2000th ordinary Tuesday? Gone. Erased before it even finished. Nothing new happened, so there was nothing worth keeping. Neuroscientists have a term for this. They call it encoding density. In plain English, the more new stuff you experience, the more memory you make. And the more memory you make, the more time your brain thinks has passed. Your sense of how long a stretch of life was isn't based on the clock. It's based on how many memories you can pull out of it. A childhood summer is packed wall to wall with firsts. Of course it feels endless. An adult year of the same commute, the same desk, the same 3 restaurants. There's almost nothing in there to count, so it collapses to nothing. Now here's where it gets genuinely wild. A neuroscientist named David Eagleman wanted to test whether fear could stretch time, so he did something a little insane. He dropped people from 150 feet in free fall backwards into a net. Terrifying. And afterward, when he asked them how long the fall lasted, they consistently guessed it was longer than it really was. Why? Because when you're scared, when everything is new and urgent, your brain floods the moment with detail. It records everything. And all that detail, played back later, feels like more time. Novelty literally stretches the clock, which brings us to the twist, and it's a heavy one. Time isn't speeding up as you get older. Your life is running out of firsts. The clock on the wall has always been fine. The problem is that you slowly stopped handing your brain anything worth recording. You didn't lose time. You stopped making it, and you can feel exactly where it went. Think about the pandemic years, locked inside, every day identical, nothing new to grab onto. Months of your one and only life compressed into a single gray smudge you can barely tell apart. That's not a mood. That's your brain finding nothing to save and quietly hitting delete. Sameness is invisible to memory. Repetition doesn't just feel boring, it erases itself. But here's the part that should light you up, because this is also the escape hatch. If novelty is what makes time feel long, then the fix is completely in your hands. Take the new route home instead of the automatic one. Learn the thing you keep saying you'll learn. Go to the place you've never been. Say yes to the plan that scares you a little. Every time you break the pattern, your brain switches the recorder back on. And you don't just make a memory, you make time. You physically lengthen the felt shape of your own life, which leaves you with one strange, uncomfortable fact. Two people can live the exact same number of days, down to the hour. One of them at the end says the years just flew by and they don't know where they went. The other says they lived 100 lifetimes, same days, same clock. The only difference was how much they let themselves record. So no, this year didn't vanish and nobody stole it. You handed it away one identical day at a time. The only question left is the one you have to answer before you blink and it's January again. How many of your remaining days are you actually going to let yourself keep? Drop the honest number in the comments.